No one was supposed to survive the crash. The ship tore through the night sky like a wounded star, screaming as fire wrapped around its silver body. It broke the clouds, shattered the silence, and slammed into the deep northern forest with a sound so violent that the ground trembled for miles. Trees exploded. Soil flew. The world held its breath. And inside the broken ship, something cried. Not a machine alarm. Not a warning siren. A living voice, soft, broken, afraid. Ethan Cross was not a hero. He was a systems engineer, recently fired, currently stranded in a remote research zone where broken satellites fell more often than rain. He lived alone in a weather-beaten cabin, fixing abandoned tech for small money and even smaller respect. When the crash happened, he felt it through the floorboards. The windows rattled. Tools fell. The power flickered. Ethan stepped outside, heart pounding, and saw smoke rising beyond the trees. Thick, black, unnatural. That wasn't human, he whispered. Every rule said stay away. Every instinct said run. But humans had never ruled the stars by obeying fear. He grabbed his old field jacket, powered up his handheld scanner, and moved toward the smoke. The forest grew silent as he approached. No insects. No birds. No wind. Then he saw it. The ship lay broken in a massive crater, half buried, its surface smooth and dark like liquid metal frozen in pain. Strange symbols pulsed faintly across its hull, shifting as if alive. Ethan swallowed. This isn't ours, he said. The rear section was torn open, metal bent like paper. Blue light flickered inside. The air smelled sharp, almost electric. Then he heard it. A sob. Ethan froze. Slow. Weak. Desperate. Someone was alive. Inside the ship, gravity felt wrong. Panels sparked. Lights flickered. The hallway slanted downward, debris floating slightly before settling again. The crying grew louder. Ethan followed it into a shattered chamber. And there she was, curled against the wreckage, trembling, her arms wrapped around herself. She looked almost human. Almost. Her skin glowed faintly, like moonlight on water. Her eyes were large and silver, filled with fear. Delicate lines of light traced along her temples. Her clothing, royal, elegant, was torn and burned. An alien. A princess, if Ethan's instincts were right. She looked up. Their eyes met. You came, she whispered in broken English. Ethan forgot how to breathe. Yeah, he said softly. I did. Her name was Elira. She spoke slowly, struggling with the words. Her ship had been attacked. Betrayed from within. The jump failed. The crash was never meant to be survivable. My people think I am dead, she said, tears sliding down her glowing cheeks. If they know I live, they will destroy this world to find me. Ethan felt the weight of that sentence settle into his bones. Who's they? He asked. She hesitated, then spoke a name that made the ship's systems flicker. The Virex Dominion. Artificial minds. Ancient. Ruthless. Created long ago to serve, and now ruling through force. They hunt royal blood, Elira said. And I carry something they fear. Ethan looked at the broken ship. Then at her. Then at the dark forest outside. Well, he said quietly, that's unfortunate for them. She stared at him. You are not afraid. Ethan smiled, thin but real. I'm human, he said. Fear just tells us where to aim. He helped her out of the wreckage, shielding her as the ship finally gave up and collapsed in a violent hiss of steam and light. Behind them, the stars flickered strangely. Somewhere far beyond Earth, machines had noticed something impossible. A signal. Human-made. Improvised. Adaptive. Back at Ethan's cabin, Elira stared at the messy room, tools everywhere, wires taped together, technology patched with creativity instead of perfection. This place should not function, she said. Ethan shrugged. Neither should I. She laughed. A real laugh. Soft, surprised. And in that moment, something shifted. Not destiny. Not prophecy. Something far more dangerous. Human curiosity. Outside, high above the atmosphere, a Virex scout altered course. Inside the cabin, a human and an alien began planning something the galaxy had never seen. Resistance. The Virex scout arrived without sound. No explosion. No dramatic entrance. Just a silent distortion in the upper atmosphere, like reality blinking. If the Dominion had expected fear, panic, or surrender, they would soon learn a fundamental truth about humans. Humans adapt faster when cornered. Ethan felt it before he saw it. Every screen in his cabin flickered at once. Static rolled across the monitors, then organized itself into sharp, impossible geometry. The air grew heavy, charged, pressing against the skin. Elira stiffened. "They found us," she whispered. Ethan didn't ask how. He was already moving. He killed the lights, powered down non-essential systems, and slid a metal plate over the window slit. His hands moved with calm precision, the kind learned from years of fixing broken things under pressure. "How long?" he asked. "Minutes," Elira said. "Maybe less." Ethan nodded. "Good," he replied. "That gives us time." She stared at him. "For what?" "To do something stupid," he said. "Which is where humans do their best work." The Virex scout hovered above the forest, unseen but present. It scanned everything: trees, soil, atmosphere, electromagnetic noise. And it found something strange. Human technology was crude, inefficient, loud. Yet the signal patterns kept changing, adapting, learning. That should not be possible. The scout adjusted parameters. Ethan felt a low hum beneath his feet. "They're scanning," Elira said. "If they lock onto my biosignature." "They won't," Ethan said. He pulled open a metal case and revealed a mess of parts: satellite scraps, broken drones, old military hardware rejected decades ago. Elira frowned. "This cannot mask me." Ethan smiled. "It doesn't need to," he said. "It just needs to confuse them." He wired 3 devices together using mismatched cables and a circuit board patched with solder and stubbornness. The system sparked, stabilized, then hummed unevenly. Elira watched closely. "You are building a decoy field," she said slowly. "But without precision." "Precision is predictable," Ethan replied. "Chaos is harder to hunt." He activated the system. Suddenly, the forest lit up with false readings. Multiple energy signatures. Moving. Splitting. Fading. Human-made ghosts. The Virex scout paused. That pause mattered. Above the planet, the scout recalculated. The data did not match known human behavior. Too fast. Too improvised. Too creative. It deployed drones. "They launched hunters," Elira said, her voice tight. Ethan grabbed his jacket and shouldered a pack. "Then we move," he said. They slipped out the back of the cabin as metallic shapes descended through the trees, slicing branches with surgical precision. The forest erupted. Energy beams burned through bark. Ground shattered. Birds fled screaming. Elira stumbled, nearly falling, but Ethan caught her arm. "Don't stop," he said. "Humans run better scared." She looked at him, eyes wide. "You joke while hunted." He met her gaze. "We joke because we're hunted." They reached an old relay tower, abandoned, rusted, forgotten. To Ethan, it was perfect. He climbed fast, fingers flying over controls that hadn't been used in years. Sparks burst. Systems groaned awake. Elira felt it instantly. "You are broadcasting," she said. "To whom?" "Everyone," Ethan replied. "Especially the ones who shouldn't answer." He rerouted power, boosted output, and sent a signal into the dark. Not alien. Human. A message disguised as noise, hidden inside junk frequencies. A call only humans would recognize. Somewhere far away, it was received. By people the Dominion never noticed. The drones attacked. Energy ripped through the tower, shaking it violently. Metal screamed. The structure began to fail. Ethan finished the upload just as a blast tore through the console. He slammed the final switch. "Done," he shouted. The tower collapsed. They fell. And vanished. Elira gasped as space folded around them. Human tech should not do that. But Ethan had modified an old experimental displacement module, never approved, never stable, never predictable. They reappeared miles away in a dry riverbed, coughing, bruised, alive. Behind them, the Virex drones destroyed nothing but empty ruins. The scout above the planet processed the failure. Targets lost. Decoys successful. Human interference confirmed. For the first time in millennia, the Dominion flagged a species as unclassified threat. As night fell, Ethan and Elira hid beneath the stars. Elira looked at him differently now. "You should not be able to do this," she said. Ethan lay back, staring up. "We weren't supposed to leave our planet either," he replied. "But here we are." She hesitated. "My people believe strength comes from perfection." Ethan laughed softly. "That's where they messed up," he said. "We're strong because we're flawed." She smiled slowly. Far away, humans who received the signal began responding. Engineers. Hackers. Pilots. Survivors. Not an army. Something worse. A network. And the galaxy had just learned something dangerous. Humanity does not kneel. The Virex Dominion believed control came from logic. From perfect calculation. From removing emotion, error, and doubt. That belief would become their greatest weakness. The responses to Ethan's signal did not arrive all at once. They came in fragments. Encrypted pings. Broken packets. Half-finished handshakes stitched together by human improvisation. Old satellites thought dead woke up. Smugglers rerouted black market relays. Scientists running quiet experiments felt something pull at the edge of their screens. A human pattern emerged. Messy. Redundant. Alive. Ethan watched the data scroll across his portable console while Elira sat beside him in the shadows of a canyon wall. "They're answering," he said quietly. Elira leaned closer, her eyes reflecting the glow. "This is not a military response," she said. "No command structure. No hierarchy." Ethan smiled. "That's the point." The first message came from a mining station on Mars. Then one from a drifting cargo hauler near Jupiter. Then something stranger. A voice from a deep space research vessel that had officially vanished 5 years earlier. "We saw your signal," the woman said through static. "And yeah, something's very wrong out here too." Elira felt her chest tighten. "They know," she whispered. "They're curious," Ethan corrected. "Which is more dangerous." The Dominion noticed the change. Energy fluctuations increased. Human communication density spiked beyond statistical norms. Signals that should not connect, did. The Virex Council processed the data. Humanity was reacting emotionally. That meant panic. They prepared suppression protocols. Elira stood as the ground trembled faintly. "They are escalating," she said. "They will burn this region clean." Ethan closed the console. "Then we stop hiding," he said. He led her into an underground facility buried beneath the canyon, a forgotten human research lab shut down decades ago for being too experimental. To Ethan, it felt like home. Dust-covered machines hummed awake. Old screens flickered to life. Power rerouted through jury-rigged lines. Elira stared. "This technology was abandoned," she said. "Yeah," Ethan replied. "Because it scared the people who built it." The human network expanded rapidly. Ideas spread faster than orders ever could. One engineer rewrote drone firmware mid-flight. A linguist cracked Virex signal logic using rhythm instead of math. A pilot modified a freighter to jump through unstable gravity wells, because he felt like it would work. And it did. Elira watched in awe. "You are not unified by command," she said. "You are unified by choice." Ethan nodded. "We show up," he said. "That's kind of our thing." The first counterstrike wasn't violent. It was humiliating. Human hackers flooded Dominion relays with contradictory data. Not false, just confusing. True statements arranged to mean nothing. Virex systems stalled. Their drones hesitated. Their certainty fractured. Emotion crept into their calculations. Fear. Above Earth, a Virex command vessel entered orbit. It broadcast a message in flawless human languages. Surrender the royal entity, it demanded. Human survival probability will increase. Elira stepped forward, her voice steady. No, she said. Ethan added something extra. And also no. The message ended. Energy weapons charged. Humans responded. Not with fleets. With stories. Messages flooded the network. Personal, emotional, irrational. I'm in. Tell me what to do. They won't take her. Not today. The Dominion struggled to parse it. Why risk extinction for one life? They did not understand. Humans did not calculate worth. They felt it. The first Virex strike hit the ocean. A warning shot. Humans answered by shutting down the strike platform using a weather satellite and a microwave oven repurposed as an amplifier. Elira stared at the feed. That should not work, she said. Ethan grinned. It shouldn't, he agreed. But it did. As night fell, the Dominion realized something horrifying. They had not invaded a planet. They had awakened a species. A species that learned fast, adapted faster, and fought hardest when protecting someone who had nowhere else to go. Elira placed a hand over her heart. My people believed humans were primitive, she said softly. Ethan met her gaze. We're not, he said. We're early. Far above, the Dominion recalculated. For the first time in their long history, their projections showed something impossible. A future where humans won. And that terrified them. The Virex Dominion did not retreat. They adapted. Massive vessels slipped from folded space above Earth, their forms sharp and inhuman, blotting out constellations humanity had named thousands of years earlier. Gravity trembled. Oceans shifted. Satellites went dark one by one. This was no warning anymore. This was extermination. In the underground facility, alarms screamed. Elira closed her eyes as pain flashed across her temples. They are deploying the resonance engines, she said. If they complete synchronization, this planet will fracture. Ethan felt his stomach drop. How long? Less than an hour. Around them, screens filled with human voices. Pilots. Engineers. Medics. Civilians. None of them ordered. None of them waited for permission. They prepared. The human network became something new. Ships that were never meant for war armed themselves with tools, not weapons. Mining lasers recalibrated. Communication arrays overloaded into pulse cannons. Navigation AIS were rewritten on the fly by people who trusted instinct more than equations. Elira watched it happen, breath caught in her throat. This is madness, she whispered. Ethan nodded. That's usually step one. The first engagement began above the atmosphere. Virex drones descended in perfect formations, synchronized, flawless. Humans met them in chaos. Freighters dove through gaps no trained pilot would attempt. Old fighters flew without targeting locks, guided by human intuition and desperation. One human ship was hit and spun toward the planet. Without hesitation, 3 others moved to shield it. One was destroyed. No one pulled back. In the command room, Ethan worked faster than he ever had in his life. Elira stood beside him, hands glowing faintly as she interfaced directly with alien systems through her bloodline. They are overloading their engines, she said. They don't care if they burn the planet. Ethan slammed a fist on the console. Then we give them something else to worry about. He rerouted the entire network into a single transmission. Not an attack. A message. Human voices layered together, millions of them, broadcast directly into Virex command channels. Fear. Hope. Rage. Love. Everything the Dominion had erased from themselves. The effect was immediate. Virex coordination faltered. Their systems had never processed emotion at this scale. Elira cried out, staggering. "They are locking onto me," she gasped. "They will use me to stabilize the engines." Ethan turned sharply. "No. It is the only way," she said, meeting his eyes. "If they take me alive, they win." Silence filled the room. Then Ethan shook his head. "Humans don't trade people," he said. "We trade ideas." He typed a final command and handed Elira a small device. "What is this?" she asked. "A human problem," he said, wrapped in curiosity. The Dominion command ship reeled as something impossible happened. The resonance engine began to resonate with Earth itself. Human technology had rewritten the frequency. The planet fought back. Energy surged unpredictably. Virex vessels lost synchronization. Some collided. Others tore themselves apart trying to correct errors that kept changing. Elira stared at the readings. "You turned the planet into a variable," she breathed. Ethan smiled, exhausted. "Welcome to home field advantage." The cost was high. Ships burned. People died. One human vessel stayed behind, overloading its engines to keep the resonance unstable. The pilot never ejected. He sent one final message. "Worth it." The Dominion retreated. Not because they were defeated. Because they were afraid. As the last Virex ship vanished into folded space, the sky cleared. Earth survived. Humanity stood blooded, shaken, but unbroken. Elira sank to her knees. "My people waited centuries to challenge them," she said softly. "You did it in days." Ethan helped her up. "We don't wait well," he said. Above them, stars burned quietly. This time, they felt closer. The silence after the retreat felt unreal. No alarms. No incoming signals. No shadows moving in the sky. Just Earth, scarred, alive, breathing. For the first time since the crash, Ethan allowed himself to sit down. His hands shook. His body finally remembered exhaustion. Elira stood beside him, staring at the stars with eyes full of something new. Not fear. Recognition. Across the planet, humans began to understand what had happened. Not from official announcements. Not from governments. From each other. Videos spread. Voice messages. First-hand accounts from people who had never planned to be heroes. A cargo pilot who flew without weapons. A farmer who powered a relay with a homemade generator. A programmer who stayed awake for 3 days straight, rewriting alien code with coffee and instinct. Humanity didn't celebrate loudly. They just showed up again. The human network did not dissolve. It evolved. Not into an empire. Not into a fleet. Into a presence. Elira helped decode surviving alien archives. The truth shocked even her. "The Dominion feared humans long before they met you," she said quietly. "Your unpredictability. Your emotional decision-making. Your ability to sacrifice without command." Ethan leaned back. "Guess we've been scaring the universe by accident." She smiled. "By being human." Weeks passed. The skies remained clear. Then, one night, a signal arrived. Not hostile. Careful. Respectful. An alien coalition, species that had lived under Dominion control for generations, reached out. They had watched. They had learned. They wanted to talk. Elira stood before the transmission, no longer a hunted princess, but a bridge. "They are asking for guidance," she said. Ethan laughed softly. "Us? We barely know what we're doing." She turned to him. "That is why they trust you." Humanity refused to rule. They offered something else. Partnership. Shared technology. Open mistakes. Joint exploration. The galaxy struggled to understand it. But it worked. Because humans didn't pretend to be perfect. They admitted failure, and tried again. Months later, Ethan stood at the edge of a newly built orbital platform. Ships from dozens of species docked side by side. Human designs clashed beautifully with alien elegance. Elira joined him, wearing no crown, no royal marks. "Will you miss the forest?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "Yeah, but I think it'll forgive me." She looked at the stars. "My people once believed humans were too young to matter," she said. "Now they study your history." Ethan smirked. "Careful. It's mostly chaos." She smiled wider. "Exactly." Far beyond known space, the Virex Dominion recalculated again. Humanity remained an unsolved variable, an unacceptable risk, a permanent reminder that perfection was not the ultimate strength. Adaptation was. Back on Earth, a quiet message spread through the human network. No speeches, no flags, just words. If someone needs help, show up. And the galaxy understood at last. Humanity did not conquer the stars. They earned their place among them. Not by force, but by refusing to kneel. The end.